Prague Castle is a castle complex in Prague, Czech Republic, built in the 9th century. It is the official office of the President of the Czech Republic. The castle was a seat of power for kings of Bohemia, Holy Roman emperors, and presidents of Czechoslovakia. The Bohemian crown jewels are kept within a hidden room inside it. According to the Guinness Book of Records, Prague Castle is the largest ancient castle in the world, occupying an area of almost 70,000 square meters, 750,000 square feet, at about 570 meters, 1,870 feet, in length and an average of about 130 meters, 430 feet, wide. The castle is among the most visited tourist attractions in Prague, attracting over 1.8 million visitors annually. The history of the castle began in 870 when its first walled building, the Church of the Virgin Mary, was built. The Basilica of St. George and the Basilica of St. Vitus were founded under the reign of Vladislaus I, Duke of Bohemia, and his son St. Wenceslaus in the first half of the 10th century. The first convent in Bohemia was founded in the castle, next to the Church of St. George. A Romanesque palace was erected here during the 12th century. 13th century Venetian coins found there were studied by numismatist Zdenka Nemeskalova Joraudkova. King Ottokar II of Bohemia improved fortifications and rebuilt the royal palace for the purposes of representation and housing. In the 14th century, under the reign of Charles IV, the royal palace was rebuilt in Gothic style and the castle fortifications were strengthened. In place of rotunda and basilica of St. Vitus began building of a vast Gothic church, that were completed almost 6 centuries later. During the Hussite Wars and the following decades, the castle was not inhabited. In 1485, King Vladislaus II Jagiellon began to rebuild the castle. The massive Vladislav Hall, built by Benedict Reg, was added to the royal palace. New defense towers were also built on the north side of the castle. A large fire in 1541 destroyed large parts of the castle. Under the Habsburgs, some new buildings in Renaissance style were added. Ferdinand I built the Belvedere as a summer palace for his wife Anne. Rudolf II used Prague Castle as his main residence. He founded the northern wing of the palace, with the Spanish Hall, where his precious art collections were exhibited. The third defenestration of Prague in 1618 took place at the castle and began the Bohemian Revolt. During the subsequent wars, the castle was damaged and dilapidated. Many works from the collection of Rudolf II were looted by Swedes in 1648, in the Battle of Prague, 1648. Which was the final act of the 30 Years' War. The last major rebuilding of the castle was carried out by Empress Maria Theresa in the second half of the 18th century. Following his abdication in 1848, and the succession of his nephew, Franz Joseph, to the throne, the former emperor, Ferdinand I, made Prague Castle his home. In 1918, the castle became the seat of the President of the new Czechoslovak Republic, T.G. Masaryk. The new royal palace and the gardens were renovated by Slovenian architect Jože Plečnik. In this period the St. Vitus Cathedral was finished, on September 28, 1929. Renovations continued in 1936 under Plečnik's successor Pavel Janek. On March 15, 1939, shortly after Nazi Germany forced Czech President Emil Hácha, who suffered a heart attack during the negotiations, to hand his nation over to the Germans, Adolf Hitler spent a night in the Prague Castle, proudly surveying his new possession. During the Nazi occupation of Czechoslovakia in World War II, Prague Castle became the headquarters of Reinhard Heydrich, the Reich Protector of Bohemia and Moravia. According to a popular rumor, he is said to have placed the Bohemian crown on his head. Old legends say a usurper who places the crown on his head is doomed to die within a year. Less than a year after assuming power, on May 27, 1942, Heydrich was ambushed during Operation Anthropoid, by British-trained Slovak and Czech resistance soldiers while on his way to the castle, and died of his wounds, which became infected, a week later. Klaus, his firstborn son, died the next year in a traffic accident, also in line with the legend. After the liberation of Czechoslovakia and the coup in 1948, the castle housed the offices of the communist Czechoslovak government. After Czechoslovakia split in 1993 into the Czech Republic and Slovakia, the castle became the seat of the head of state of the new Czech Republic. Similar to what Masaryk did with Plečnik, President Václav Havel commissioned Boris Cipek to be the architect of post-communism Prague Castle's necessary improvements, in particular of the facelift of the castle's gallery of paintings. The castle buildings represent many of the architectural styles of the last millennium. Prague Castle includes Gothic Street, Vitus Cathedral, Romanesque Basilica of St. George, a monastery and several palaces, gardens and defense towers. Most of the castle areas are open to tourists. The castle houses several museums, including the National Gallery collection of Bohemian Baroque and Mannerism art, exhibition dedicated to Czech history, toy museum and the picture gallery of Prague Castle, based in the collection of Rudolf II. The Summer Shakespeare Festival regularly takes place in the courtyard of Burgrave Palace. The neighborhood around Prague Castle is called Hradčany.